Most people want to be financially independent because they don't like their jobs and would rather not be at work from 9 to 5. But even though it might seem hard to do and a long way off, it might be a good idea to start thinking about it as soon as possible because it is easier to do when you start young. You can start at any age, but the younger you are when you start, the easier it will be to use compound interest to your advantage. We decided to break the goal into 10 levels so that you can work your way up through them as you get closer and closer to being financially independent. This will make it easier to keep track of your progress and give you more manageable goals along the way. While we have high hopes that it will help you keep going until you reach your goals. Level 0, Financial Dependent. At the financially dependent level, you have more debt payments to make each month than you have money coming in. Which means you are making your financial situation worse every day. Because of this, you have to rely on other people to keep you alive and pay for your daily expenses. When a person gets to the point where they are financially dependent, their net worth drops below zero. This is when you have more debts than assets. Most of the time, this will happen if you have a lot of bad debt, like credit card debt, or if you can't control how much you spend. Some people who get a college degree could be in this situation with their student loan debt before they finish school and can find a higher paying job. This is because they need to be able to pay back their student loans. Debt payments are higher than their salary, so people need help from others. Level 1, Financial Solvency. You are financially solvent if you can pay off all of your debts on your own and take care of all of your financial responsibilities without help from other people. At this point in their lives, people have started to get their debt and spending under control and are ready to start paying back their debt. As the debt is paid off, each month there will be more room for more money to be put aside for other things. In this situation, you can't just leave the house and start spending the money on something else right away. You should use that money to pay off your bad debt faster and build up an emergency fund instead, so that if something unexpected comes up, you don't end up back in the financial dependent category. Level 2, Financial Stability. When you can pay off all of your debts on your own every month and have money set aside in case of an emergency, you may say that you are financially stable. As long as you keep making your minimum payments on time every month, you will not only be ready for any unexpected costs that may come up, but you will also be well on your way to being debt-free. If this is the case, you can use the money from your emergency fund instead of taking out a new loan on top of what you already owe. If you have an emergency fund with about 6 times your monthly expenses, you should be able to pay for any unexpected costs. This is a good place to start. Level 3, Debt Freedom. Depending on who you ask, the phrase, debt freedom, can mean one of two things. You might, for example, have no debts at all, which means you don't have a mortgage or any other bills to pay. Another possibility is that you have paid off all of your bad debt. Bad debt is defined as debt with a high interest rate, like credit card debt. Since a mortgage might be considered good debt, we should focus on paying off the debt we think is the worst as soon as possible. Depending on the type of loan you have and how much interest you pay, you may have a few options. If the interest rate is low enough, it might be better to invest your extra money to earn a higher rate of interest than to use that money to pay off a loan with a low rate of interest. Obviously, this varies from person to person, both in terms of personal preference and the level of risk at which they can sleep the best at night. Level 4, Coasting Financial Independence. Coasting financial independence is when you have saved enough money for your retirement that you can just let them stand and compound. You can say that you have achieved coasting financial independence. Because of the power of compound interest, you'll have enough money to live on when you reach the age you want to retire. When you reach this point, you can decide if you want to save less money and spend more time doing things that make you happy. Some people decide to leave a high-paying job that doesn't make them happy in order to start a new job that pays less but makes them happier throughout the day. Many people see it as a step toward an early retirement, when they can spend their time and energy on things they want to do instead of trying to make as much money as possible. Level 5, Financial Security. When you have financial security, it means that the money you get from your assets is enough to pay for all the necessaries you need to buy every year. Your necessary costs are not all your expenses. You'll need these basic things to keep your life going, like the money to pay your mortgage, food, and insurance. They are not Netflix or other streaming service memberships, and they are not vacations. It is set up so that if you lose your job, your family will still be safe because you will be able to pay for the basics. It's not the best way to live your life, but until you find a new job, it will do. Level 6, Financial Flexibility. When you have financial flexibility because of your investments, this means that the cash flow from your assets is enough to cover all of your monthly costs. You don't have enough money yet to be completely unaffected by the ups and downs of the stock market, so this is called a flexible option. In this case, you will need to be flexible with your budget and change it whenever the market goes up or down. Because you might have to live very cheaply sometimes and then have a lot of money other times, it might be very hard to live in these conditions. Level 7, Financial Independence. For many people, the 4% rule is the key to becoming financially independent. This rule says that you can take out 4% of your assets every year, and the rest will keep growing at a rate that is enough to keep it going for at least 30 years. To reach this goal, you will need to have enough money invested to cover 25 times your annual costs. If you take out 4% of your investments every year, your portfolio might not be able to support itself in 30 years if you do what some research says you should do. Because of this, some people choose to be more careful and use the 4% rule like it's the 3% rule. To do this, you will need to build a portfolio of investments that is worth 33 times your annual costs. Level 8, Financial Freedom. You have financial freedom if the money you get from your assets is enough to cover the costs of the way you want to live. This usually means that the cash flow from your assets is enough to cover all of your costs and any other goals you may have in life. You might want to be able to travel often throughout the year, drive an expensive car, or buy a new home in a place you've always wanted to live. At this point in your financial journey, you will finally be able to live the life of your dreams with the money you make from investments. Level 9, Financial Abundance. Financial abundance is when the money your investments bring in is more than you will ever need. You might be able to spend it all if you try hard enough, but if you don't, it will be enough for you to live your life and your investments will still help your family. If you really want to, you could probably spend all of it. This level is hard for most people to reach because most people are good at making their lives better whenever they can. But if you can get to this point first, you'll never have to worry about money again, and you'll also have made sure that your kids will have a good life. This was the end of all 10 levels. We really hope that this video has helped you learn more about the different levels of financial independence. You can reach any level you want if you work hard and stick with it. What level of financial success do you have now, and what level do you hope to reach? Leave a comment below, and we'll respond with words of encouragement to help you keep going. We're here to help people with personal finance, so if you are interested in more topics like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you will be notified when we release a new video which might help you on your journey.